a little bit overrated.
When the clock strikes 6:30, babe, time to head for golden lights. It's a good time for the great taste dinner at McDonald's. It's Mac tonight. Come on, make it Mac tonight.
Sonic Colors came out in November 2010, and it was considered basically the first good Sonic game in a very long time. Depending on who you ask, you might hear it's the first best one since Sonic Adventure 2 or the first best one since Sonic Heroes. I personally think Sonic Heroes was pretty bad, so I would say it's the first good game since Sonic Adventure 2, but actually I would also say it's not really that good, and people really look at it through rose-tinted glasses. The thing about Sonic Colors is that the potential is there, and it shows through a lot of times, but when it's not showing through, it can be a real slog. There's various problems with the game, including many levels that are really way too short, many levels that are very tedious, and then there's levels where there's like too much to it, there's too much to explore, you don't really know where you're going or where everything is, and you have to use a guide to find all the red rings. Not that finding the red rings even really matters that much, because you're probably not going to play the extra modes. Seen here is a pretty good example. One thing that the game does is give you this drill power and then send you off through underground mazes where you'll never figure out where you're supposed to be going. It ultimately becomes slow and not fun, and that's kind of generally the biggest problem with this game. There are segments that are just simply slow and boring and not fun to play. Particularly platforming segments, which are very slow and involve waiting around for platforms and stuff, and it's very un-Sonic-like. It's also more Mario than Sonic in some ways. They gave Sonic Mario's wall jump ability, and they also took away his spin dash ability. Except when you use the Spike Wisp. Similarly, they took away the light dash too, except when you use the hover wisp. It's not too big of a deal, at least for the most part. What is a big deal is really boring and annoying platforming segments where you wait around, jump really carefully, fall to your death and die and have to start the level over or go to the last checkpoint with your score destroyed. Sonic games should be fast and fun at all times, and this game is fast and fun a lot of the time, but not all of the time. And when it's not, it can be a real pain. So I'm going to do this really easy, really quick, by simply showing examples from all the worlds sequentially. And right now we're on World 1, and here is a great example of a world that is much too short. Sorry, not a world, rather a level. The game in general, though, is much too short, so all the worlds are too short, you could say. There are only 6 of them. That's not counting the short final stage, which isn't really a world. But I beat this stage in the footage here using the Wisp laser instead of the Wisp spike. And if I were to use the spike, I could beat it even faster than this. This is the slow way. Yes, you could play this level and get all the red rings, but why do that when you can just breeze right through it? Doesn't make it not an interesting level, I guess, but it does make it too short of a level. If it takes less than a minute, which many stages in the game do, you've got a little bit of a problem there, pal. As you can see here, sometimes the 3D controls can be a little bit wonky, but really the majority of the frustration is found in the 2D segments. Ah yes, you might have noticed also that Sonic has a double jump out of nowhere. Yeah, they added a double jump, but I don't see why it's necessary. Especially, they made jumping weird in general. You can do a little short jump that's pretty useless, but to do like a regular actual jump attack, or to just jump high, you have to really hold the button down for a good long time. And not only that, but you'll actually fall out of your jump attack and then have to perform some kind of other attack or get hit by landing on an enemy. For some reason, they thought it was a good idea to make Sonic not stay in ball form when he's jumping. Yeah, okay, great. I don't know if they're trying to make it more realistic or something, but if they were going for that, why would they give him a double jump? Double jumping is about one of the most unrealistic things in existence in video games. It's stupid. And you know what else is stupid? Slow, overly technical, boring, frustrating platforming segments like the one shown in this footage. Let's move on. So what inspired me to actually make this video about this old game is waking up on Saturday morning too early, thinking about this one song. And there's this one moment in this game where this song starts playing, and it truly showcases this potential that this game had, but didn't really quite live up to. So I'm about to show you the best scene in the entire game. Enjoy. Ah, you gotta be kidding me. It gives you this amazing feeling of just dashing through this grassy field with this incredible music. And that could have lasted. They could have made that a big level. They could have made that several levels. They could have made that the entire game. But no, instead you fall into this sort of Eggman'd up grade. You sort of fall into just this typical Eggman scenery, mixed in with the beautiful nature, and I guess that's kind of interesting and sort of makes a statement, but then the level just sucks, essentially. And basically most of the levels on this whole world are pretty bad, even though it's got some of the best music in the game. It's really depressing, man. It could have been so great, and they just kind of dropped the ball on it. I really wish they could just go back and expand that first 13 seconds of the first world and really do something with it. Like, why isn't that a major part of a Sonic game? Surely they must have realized when they were making this what they were doing there, but it devolves so quickly into the just typical kind of cheap death stuff that you see all too much in this game. And then later in the level you get to some really bad platforming. quite upsetting. Each world has 3 music tracks. The second one is pretty good. The first one and this one is the best by far. The third one, not nearly as good as the first and second. But yeah, you get to this bad, frustrating platforming, and then that's what you gotta deal with. It sucks. As you've probably noticed, the game does look darn nice. It's particularly noticeable on this level, I would say. It's really probably one of the better worlds. I skipped past the 4th one because I realized this video was getting a little long in the tooth, but I'll probably show some footage of it in a second as I sort of start wrapping it up. But yeah, this is a pretty fun world, but it still has its shares of frustrations. But it sure looks and sounds nice. That much is very true. This world is also the only one with water in it. And actually, really gotta give credit where credit is due. Sonic has never been better in the water than he is in this game. They decided to make the double jump just reusable in water, which kind of actually makes sense. So when you're in water, you can double jump your way up to the top whenever, provided you've got enough air to get there. And they're also pretty generous with their air bubbles, so you know it's pretty good. It's handled fairly well, except for that stupid drill again. But anyway, good implementation, although you can just dash over the water in some of the levels and be done with it. Okay, yes, let's do one more example of how things can turn from totally awesome to totally horrible and boring. Let's take a look at the first level from the 4th world, Starlight Carnival. And then I'm only going to show the boss from the 6th world, because the 6th world is just not as interesting as the others. Alright, so notice how you're like running along this thing of light. It's totally awesome. You end by smashing up all these things. It's really cool. The camera's going crazy. You're having a great time. You don't know what's next. But then you do this. Uh-oh, it's Tooty again. Ooh boy. And now we're doing P-switch puzzles. We Mario again. Instead of Sonic. And we're not even at the Olympic Games. Yeah, that's not frustrating at all, right? Ugh. Now I'm going to show you how all the bosses are the freaking same boss.
Use the platform. Weak point is its face. Use the cups.
Yes, essentially the boss formula is go in there, hit him one time normally, cheat with wisps, hit him again with wisps, kill him. The end. And then there's only 3 variations on the bosses in the 6 worlds. They come in sets of 2 that are clones of one another. That's pretty lazy. Yeah. Oh, and in case you were wondering, the story is god-awful. This was the game they decided that they were just gonna dumb everything down and make it for little kids. I don't know why. But, yeah. This game is basically why we have crap like Sonic Lost Worlds in terms of storytelling. So this basically has almost like an 80 on Metacritic. It's 79, I think. And honestly, I think that's a little bit too high. I could maybe give it a 7 out of 10. It's pretty good, and it's a game that I actually finished, but part of that was just because it was so short. You can beat it in 3 or 4 hours, probably. It's a very short game, and remember that it was sold originally at full price. $50. Pretty expensive for a game you can beat in an afternoon. It's definitely an experience though, so I gotta give it props for that. However, I think people praised it a little too much as kind of this great game when it's really just an acceptable game, and that's about the size of it. So thanks for watching. If you made it through all 20 minutes of this, you're a pretty cool dude, or dudette. Are any chicks watching? Hey, if you're a girl, leave a comment. If you like this, consider subscribing. I'll probably do more reviews if this gets views. And I also have a lot of other video game related content. Aside from that, remember, don't use adblock on YouTube, support your favorite creators, watch the 15-second commercials, click on your favorite creators' ads, and that about does it. Again, thanks for watching. If you made it to the end, you're my hero, and I hope you enjoyed.